All right, you're good now.
Are we ready?
We're ready.
Mr. Danzy, Mr. McGuire,
Here.
Mr. Benefield,
Here.
Mr. Harris, Mrs. Gasky,
Here.
Ms. Palmer, Ms. Phelps, Ms. Harvey, here, Mr. Frazier,
Here.
Mr. Nicholson,
Here.
and Ms. Page. Here. We have a quorum.
Thank you. I don't have my gavel. Mr. Clark, did you get that gavel again?
Yeah. Let my grandkids play with it.
Before we break into the superintendent's report, we've got an extremely busy May, and board members will ask that you be flexible with your schedule. Superintendent's going to outline some graduation dates for May, but we're also going to be looking at potentially a retreat first couple of days of May. And we'll get those dates out to you to check your calendar. Another thing is we'd like to have a special call meeting on April 30th of this month. Here in this room, there's a millage that's on the ballot on the 27th. If that millage is successful, if it passes, we will not need to have that meeting. But if it does not pass, we will need to meet here on the 30th and consider some options for that the school that it's concerning. So if you would, go ahead and mark down April 30th on your calendar so we can make sure that we're well informed.
Would that be 5 p.m.?
Ma'am?
Would that be 5 p.m.?
5 p.m., yes, ma'am. Okay, Superintendent Lloyd.
Yes, sir. So to start off with, just to give you a heads up on our high school graduations, I do not, but I will get you our junior high graduations because I know specifically Marthaville and Provençal, those are always very ornate ceremonies, but I'll get you all that. But for now, April 15th, May 15th is NPTCC's graduation at AA Fredericks, and that's at 6 p.m. The following day at 6 p.m. is Lakeview's graduation, which is also in AA Fredericks. And then the following day in Prather Coliseum at 7 p.m. will be Natchitoches Central's graduation. 3 days in a row. It's going to be lots of fun.
That's 7, you said?
That's yeah, it's 6, 6, and 7.
Okay.
Okay. Next month I will have Miss Erickson, who will come here and give you an update on what summer school is going to look like. Very similar to years past, but I just want her to during the superintendent report next month to give you all the nitty gritty on summer school. Also, want to give you a heads up, some more dates. April 15th through May 17th is the LEAP testing window, the spring LEAP testing window. That's for 3rd through 8th. And then also, obviously, our high school folks taking their, still it's LEAP 2025, but we still kind of call those the EOCs, the end of course exams. So be aware that, that is our most sacred of time in school buildings, and we try to have as little disruptions as possible. I want to take a moment because we are sandwiched in between. Yesterday was the eclipse, and tomorrow we apparently have some weather coming. I want to reiterate, no one ever agrees with our calls on this. 50% get mad that we called school, 50% get mad that we didn't, and then it changes the next go around. Every time we look at this, our first priority is going to be safety, but then right underneath that is going to be, we want kids in school as much as humanly possible. And so when we look at this, we're first going to say, is it safe to be in school? For the eclipse, it was totally safe to be in school. I will be honest, we probably erred too much on safety by, I think people thought they couldn't even go outside, which they thought that for good reason because that was conveyed to them. But they could have been outside, just don't stare at the sun. And that was because if you looked at the news, there was several articles, several things even from NASA that said none of the glasses are really that safe. So we watched it online. I know that's not the best thing, but again, it was about that safety and also to some degree our old friend liability. Tomorrow, we have already been looking at National Weather Services, and we've contacted our local parishes to see what's going on with other districts. No one, with the exception of right now of Boyles Parish, who is far to our south, is closing. But we will continue to monitor that, but it does not look like we will have to close. It just looks like we're going to have a little bit of wind and rain, and we'll have to watch if there's any tornadic activity. But right now, the most we're having is a tornado watch. But again, safety is priority, and then second to that is keeping kids in schools. Want to update you on some legislative items. ESAs passed the House yesterday, and that again is our educational savings accounts. I have been talking to our legislators. It is now time to talk to your senators. If you want to see this not pass, or if you want to see some sort of amendment, which we are proposing from the Louisiana Association of School Superintendents.
Can I interrupt?
Yes, sir.
It passed without the accountability, did it not?
Correct. So as of now, and basically what I've been told is the feeling down in Baton Rouge is that this is what the governor wants. And so a lot of people are kind of in lockstep with him, but we can still put pressure on our elected officials. We are the ones who elected them. So please, board members, or really anyone in the viewing on YouTube or whatever it is we do, you can reach out to those folks and express your feelings about educational savings accounts. Again, taking public money and sending it to private schooling. I also want to take a moment. He's not here today, and I did not tell him to be here, but one of the things that has happened since our last meeting is we have another state semifinalist for a teacher, principal, etc. of the year award. If you remember last year, we had Miss Shirley. She made it to the finals for state middle school teacher of the year. And I got the pleasure of going with her and Black Tie Affair to the World War II Museum. Well, I'm happy because this year I get to go again. They have excellent food. But this year we will be honoring Mr. Micah Coleman as a state principal of the year semifinalist. And we'll find out if he's a finalist when we get to teacher leader. And I think he's got a good chance of winning it all, which is a perfect segue. Thank God we got Coach Coleman off of basketball. I think we all agree, Coach Sepulveda has told me he was bringing that program down, right, Coach?
He wanted to. I lost it.
But I want to mention this group of guys, and guys, if y'all don't mind standing up. I was a bad athletic coach, and so I'm always so impressed with these coaches who make it to district championships and playoffs and then championship games. I know, and it goes without saying that, it wasn't the result that y'all wanted. But what I'm most impressed with about this team and the coaching staff is I think it mirrors what we were always looking for with our academics in our district, which is growth. To know that y'all had a really a struggle of a season last year, and to flip it completely and to make it to the championship game shows the skill of your coaches, the strategy and strategic nature of how you were coached, the perseverance and hard work of the team. And again, you may not have that championship piece of hardware, but that journey, I think, is, it's almost like written for a Hollywood script. So I just really want to recognize y'all. We'd love to bring up our coaching staff. That's Coach Sepulveda, Coach Uselton, and Coach Dupuy. And if y'all, we don't have a lectern right now, but if you want to come in between our tables and just maybe say a few words about the team and y'all's season, and any wisdom y'all want to share with us.
I promise I don't have wisdom.
He said we all.
No, just to reiterate, like you brought up, leading into it, we talked about it all year about how the representation that we had of our program last year did not live up to the standards and expectations that we had for ourselves. And so, we made a relentless effort this year in the off season, the summer, the preseason, of holding ourselves accountable and responsible for playing at the standard of what Natchitoches Central basketball is supposed to be. And as you brought up, and the growth that these kids or these young men have had from last year to this year is tremendous. And we don't get there without their ability to sacrifice a lot of the things, a lot of time to devote to what we ask from them, what we demand from them every single day. And I can't I'm having flashbacks to the week of state championship week. I was highly, very, very, very emotional that week.
Not you, though.
More, I'm telling you, but in a different way. You've never seen me like that. But so, you know, and like I told them, no matter what happened Saturday night leading up to that, win or lose, it didn't affect how proud I was of this group. This group is very, very special, not just to me, but for our program and the history of our program. To come from where they came from last year, to go do what we were able to do, because I do believe, and that's fine. You know, we talk about it in our locker room all the time. As long as the guys that we got in that locker room believe that we can go achieve the goals that we've got to get, we don't need anybody else. And I got a lot of phone calls and a lot of text messages prior to that Ruston game and prior to them other games that from a lot of coaches around the state. They're like, well, Coach, y'all had a good run. You know, you've had a good night. But you know, we knew all week that we were going to take care of our business. We knew we were going to handle our business, and you know, that was one of the very, very, very few games this year where going into it, I felt like as a staff and especially me personally, you know, I wasn't nervous. There was no reason to be nervous because I knew we were prepared that we were going to go handle our business the way we did. It helped that Logan had 28 points, you know. But I wasn't counting on that. But hey, we'll take it. So, like I said, I'm very, very proud of this group and the support that we've gotten from Natchitoches for this group. You know, I put our student section and our fans, anybody in Louisiana, you know, that they support us tremendously. And like whenever we went to Denham, we talked about it in the quarterfinals. We felt like that was just another home game for us. I mean, we were loud. We booed them off their own home floor, you know, whenever they ran out. And that's something that a lot of programs don't have that kind of support around the state. And so we are very, very appreciative of Natchitoches. But I also believe those guys do a great job of representing this city and representing our school the way that they're supposed to be. So they deserve that support because of what they put in every single day. I mean, they got to deal with me every day. That's enough right there. So like I said, I thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. Like I said, I appreciate my guys.
How many seniors do you have?
Logan, raise your hand, Logan. Logan's a senior. Corey, Logan Smith, Ja'Corian Beard's a senior. He's number 15. Number 2, Cameron Davis, number 3 is a senior, and AJ Scott, number 12, is a senior. But that's what we told them, you know, all them guys coming back, and we got a lot of guys in our program that are freshmen that are coming up that aren't here today because they didn't dress. So they didn't come, but you know, our expectations aren't changing. You know, we've got to finish it off. Like you said, you know, I'm 0 for 2 in state championship games, so I gotta break that streak. So we're gonna get it done next year.
Well, I just hope these guys take the lesson of this year and apply it to everything in life. I mean, because like you said, preseason probably no one was picking y'all, but because y'all decided y'all were going to do it, y'all made it happen. And that's shoot, you can apply that to anything.
Faith in your coaches, faith in each other. That's what got you right.
Well, congratulations, guys. We're proud of y'all. Thanks, Coach. And I apologize, some of these other recognitions, communication got crossed, so we're going to have some different ones next week at our Tuesday meeting, and actually some of them may delve into May as well. So, we still have the rest of the basketball team and orchestra, and that's because I hadn't reached out to y'all. I forgot over the break, so we will be doing that over the next couple of days.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And that concludes my report for April.
We have several out-of-state travel on the consent agenda, if you would review that.
Now, where some of them is going to just say out-of-state travel, the name, I know some of them saying where they're going, some not saying where they're going.
Yes, sir. So the first one is they're doing that trip to Washington and New York through the EF Tours. That's through Lakeview. The second one is the Hot Springs, Arkansas trip that they do for that's the JAG, is it not? It's
We've got,
I think that one's,
Chief Houston.
education in motion.
Education motion, I'm sorry.
Send us an email on that one.
The out-of-state for Major Wiggins and Chief John Thomas, that's ROTC related. Orchestra is here actually to tell us about it, if y'all want to hear from them. Y'all mind if,
I'd like to hear
yeah,
from them.
good.
Yeah, that's I'm sorry, that's the only one I didn't put a location, but the documentation is attached to it. And that was actually for 2025.
Good.
Good evening, Dr. Eloy and school board members. My name is Lincoln Hall. I'm the orchestra director for Natchitoches Central High School. The NCHS Orchestra is planning a trip to New York City in February of 2025 with tour company Music Celebrations International. We have approximately 75 people interested in attending, 31 of whom are students. The group would depart on Friday, February 14th and return on Monday the 17th. Students would only miss 1 day of instruction. The trip will be funded through participants' own means, as well as fundraisers sponsored by the NCHS Orchestra. On this trip, students will have numerous sightseeing opportunities, a private clinic with the associate conductor of the New York Philharmonic, and the opportunity to perform in one of several prestigious venues. For many of these students, this will be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to not only experience one of our nation's greatest cities, but also to be ambassadors for Natchitoches Central High School, the Natchitoches Parish School Board, and our community. Thank you for allowing me to speak with you this evening. I appreciate your consideration.
Thank you for coming.
I just wish they were going in 2026 so I could go with my kids. And then the last one is we have an out-of-state travel. It's paid for through the Strong Grant. This is the Summer Institute through NIET. We're going to be taking 32. It's principals, master teachers, and a few and a few mentor teachers. We've got to start using that new language. And that will be for those individuals to plan their long-range plan with NIET personnel assisting them in that. And that's in June in Scottsdale, Arizona. Paid for completely through Strong.
Any questions for Superintendent Hall? All right. Mr. Shirley's not.
He will be, and I apologize, Mr. Shirley, Ms. Hicks, because they're waiting on a few things from the break. Mr. Shirley, Ms. Hicks, and Transportation will be presenting next Tuesday.
Be sure if we can add transportation.
Yes.
Mr. Watson.
Yes, I've got the budget pulled up. Of course, the main one I always focus on is the general fund budget, but
Thank you.
if you look at it compared to last year, which is column 3 is the this year actual, and column 2 is last year. And you might remember we gave out that bonus last October. That's where you see the differences in the tables of salary and benefits area. Other than that, it looks like it's exactly in line with what we had last year in the general fund. Child nutrition seems like it's doing well. The difference between like she's on par doing normal. Title I, once again, column 3, you might see the expenses are always higher than the revenues, but once again, that's just delayed billing. We will receive that money. ESSER 2, which is completed now, and then ESSER 3, which is hopefully it's got a ways to go, but I'm thinking that these numbers are about to start changing dramatically now that the building next door is open. Mike Kozad has been ordering a great many materials.
And they've also, the state recently, well, I guess it's state and federal recently, have given us a further grace period that items have to be purchased, but if they have not arrived, they can still arrive by Christmas of this following year.
Well, it's actually,
And they have to be encumbered, but yeah.
It has to be obligated before the end of September. It doesn't have to be paid for.
Yeah. So that'll help a little bit in terms of that as well.
participate here?
No, she is at a recruiting event in Baton Rouge for LSU.
Well, sales taxes, if you take a look at sales taxes, which is next. It's off 9.54%, which for the year is now off 4.78%.
That doubles.
You can see in the last, since 2014, we haven't had a decline this much in a while, but this, once again, look, we had these hyper increases years ago, and now we're kind of.
I only think it's related to the interest rates and people not buying vehicles.
Right, I
Because
do
the
believe
majority
that.
of your parish sales tax comes from vehicle purchases.
Right, that is true. And finally, it's vehicles, RVs, boats, all of
Yeah.
it, and tractors, all of it.
And I just don't think anyone's buying them with the interest rates the way they are now.
Right. I've asked Ms. Jeffcoat over at Tax Commission if she thought it would turn around. She actually thought it would turn around. I would like to share with y'all, city of Natchitoches sales taxes are up slightly. So this tells you that the sales taxes in the parish are down. So when they get, we are a combination of everybody. So the city sales taxes are up slightly, so within the city, it seems to be doing okay. But out in the parish, it seems to, they seem to be really suffering. So, any questions on that?
Okay. Ms. Phillips, Mrs. Palmer's absence, can you do the final? So,
Item 5A, discuss and consider tuition assistance policy.
Yes, ma'am. So this policy is something we've always had, but we have an amount of money that's always in that pot to assist with tuition assistance. The bulk of that money over the past few years has gone to getting uncertified people to certification. What we're starting to see is that we're starting to address that, and that's getting better. So what we wanted to do is, that's still a focus, but what we wanted to move to was also being able to allow teachers to pursue graduate level coursework, which we kind of put a moratorium on because we needed so much money just to get people certified. But with the need to have people to have those higher certifications, or to have add-ons, or to have, ed diagnosticians and all those different types of things that we have to have in a district, we are starting to kind of, again, not to take away from the teachers being certified, but open it up a little bit more to that graduate coursework. And again, the main focus will still be, getting people certified, but open it up to that grad coursework. And then you can look through, it's about a 3 or 4 page long policy. There's things about how long they have to be with us. There's things about how much per semester we'll give, and a lot of the logistical concerns of how that goes through. But
and course testing.
exactly, because we want them to be actually successful. You can't fail the course and expect us to pay for it. But just trying to update this policy to reflect the changing dynamics of our workforce here in Natchitoches, specifically NPSB. And I'm sorry, putting more safeguards in place that we protect our investment. So, if you're going to do this, we need you to stay with us a certain amount of time and all those things.
That's going to be the next question I asked.
Yes, ma'am. Because otherwise, we're just
Giving somebody else something.
we want to help them, but we want we scratch their back, they scratch ours.
Someone
So,
else's farm club.
Right.
yeah.
We grow them and they move away. Okay. Yeah, board members, any questions about this tuition assistance policy?
So will there be a contract?
So
signed by the-
they do.
that'll be in the program?
They do, and the problem always is that whenever you say, hey, you're supposed to stay with us for a certain amount of time, there is a difficulty there, which we've talked about, I think, in this boardroom before, about the mechanisms by which to get that back. But that's what we're trying to do. There's a few things you can do. The problem is when someone just kind of leaves like a thief in the night and they had their last paycheck and things of that nature. But Ms. Ramona and Ms. Page have beefed this up to where some of those loopholes they're closed.
Okay.
Is it still where didn't the state have a system for that type of thing too, and they apply to that first, and then we cover what, that's what used to be years
I
ago.
don't know what the state has in there, because what they do for us is, and we've had to tell people this a lot, we have meetings about this all the time, where a lot of times they'll take a class like last year and they'll come up to us and they'll say, hey, I took a class last year, can I get this? You have to actually apply for it beforehand, you have to take it successfully, and then we do it. I'm sure there's some stuff through the state, but I think a lot of this money actually that we have is through the state for us to use on that. So it may be one of those things where the state used to do it, now they're just filtering it through us more.
Makes sense.
So if they, if we have some type of contract in place and they don't adhere to it, if something happens and they leave prior to the end of.
They won't get the, yes ma'am. And
There's
there's,
some reimbursement, assessment.
so, well, the good thing is, most times, what they're gonna do is they're gonna hand into us like their transcript, and we're gonna deal really with the university. It's not like we give them $1,000 and they go pay the university. We deal with the bursar's office. Really, what we're talking about recouping money is when they've successfully done that, we've paid for it, and then they leave us prior to the end of, you know, this kind of agreement. That's the more difficult one to reimburse back. But, you know, you can actually, you can take money out of, if done correctly, if gone through the Lord's, you can have money taken out of a paycheck for someone who doesn't go through adhere to the agreement, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Because it would be totally unfair if they didn't have to adhere and everything.
Correct.
Consequences.
And we have had people who, they don't understand, they get into this and they fail the course. And then we don't pay for it and they're very upset, but, you know, we're very upfront with them about the guidelines of all this, because there's no point of us paying for a class that you didn't complete. There's no point, we're also not gonna let you go take underwater basket weaving when we need you to be an ed diagnostician. So, you know, there's a lot of really strict parameters, and we also, there is a vetting process of, you know, not everyone just gets this automatically. There is a bucket of money, and they apply for it, and, you know, some of it is, if you've been to 20 different schools in the past 20 years, are we necessarily gonna want to invest money in you now? But if you've been with us for 6 years and you've been an ideal employee and you're doing everything we're asking for, I mean, that's a great person to invest in. The other thing that we're doing right now is, you know, the Reach University. Those are like, we have secretaries and paraprofessionals who are getting basically a free college education while they're working for us, and I mean, that's working beautifully.
So they have to pass the course or graduate before we pay?
Yes.
We would, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have to, if you look at the bottom of the policy, within 30 days of passing the exam, so their time fences. They can't come back 9 months later, so I didn't submit. So,
And the vast majority of this is, I mean, I'd say 90%, if not higher, is through Northwestern. You know, they're gonna go get any sort of thing, and what we found is we don't have a great pipeline right now of principals and assistant principals.
Right.
And so we need to start encouraging our folks to go get those leadership degrees, so the next group is ready, so.
Well, we've done it with classroom teachers,
Mhm.
and this is the next level. And I agree. I think this is where we need to be. Keep that pipeline. We're growing our own.
Yes, sir.
Okay, item 5B, discuss and consider a resolution for canvassing the results of the special election in CSD number 11.
This is the results as we do after each election. I want to hats off to Russ Danley and to Coach Poe.
Mr. McGuire.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. McGuire too, I'm sorry. This was a 2-1 victory. It worked out very well. This means a lot to Providence Hall. We went from about 112 to 115,000 a year in VRD funding to a little over 400,000. We're way behind and we need to catch up, so.
Well, that's just solid support from the citizens and realize the need and want to help.
I think everybody's really happy about Providence Hall. It's a good school.
So we get to hear you read the resolution next week?
I guess so. Lord help us all.
And I do want to mention, I'm sorry, in my superintendent report, I meant to mention that this is a lean month, but that's because next month is going to be extremely heavy, so,
We have a few things.
and we have a few things to add in the interim.
We've got a few more offers on properties and stuff.
Yeah.
That concludes finance, facility, service, and insurance report.
Thank you, Ms. Dodds. Board members, there's nothing in personnel, nothing in executive report. I'd like you to pay attention to the email that the superintendent's going to send out on graduations. And again, mark it down, April 30th for a special call meeting for us. And Ms. Page will have the details on teacher and staff appreciation for the first week of May. That's right. She's working it hard. Thank you for taking that on. Board members, anything that we need to discuss?
Did you say a date for the retreat, or you just said?
No, we're targeting May 2nd.
What, is that Thursday?
I think that's
Tuesday?
We're targeting May 2nd, because if we don't, May's gonna be a whirlwind.
It is a Thursday.
And we've got to get some stuff out, discussed.
How early could we start that? If it's a Thursday?
It's Thursday, I'm right. Okay. What do you think? I'm open.
Really, our folks, I mean, as a staff, we're wide open, but it's y'all who
Be there when I get there.
got jobs. So I was hoping we could start as early as 3, but if not, I mean, we can.
Who would have a problem with 3 o'clock?
I think my granddaughter works at school.
It'd be tight, it'd be tight.
So 4 o'clock, sounds like 4 o'clock.
Yeah, 4 o'clock would be
That
much
sounds
better.
good.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna put this as tentative.
So 4 o'clock would be better? Okay.
We don't know the location's gonna be close.
Yeah.
Next Thursday.
Mr. Benefit, do you want me to look for a location?
Yeah, we'll both. look.
Okay.
I heard Louisville's got some good now. They got a casino. Okay, thank y'all, board members. We'll see you next week.